guest is Lisa Franklin.
When you hold that little one or choose the gift of adoption to a family, that little life God has a plan and a purpose for, and He will make a way where there seems to be no way.
Share the gospel clear and strong. Stand for, claim your heritage of truth.
Welcome to Heritage of Truth. Today my guest is Lisa Franklin. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am excited to have you. Now, Lisa is the founder of the Alpha Omega Miracle Home in St. Augustine, Florida. And we are here today visiting the home, and I'm really excited to find out more about what they do here. So can you tell us a little bit about how the home got started and what your vision for it is for the future?
Yes. It actually got started while I was praying one night and just thanking God for allowing me to get through some of the years that I had been through. I was raised in a strong Christian home, and at age 15 I got pregnant and crushed my parents' hearts, and from there I just kind of fell out of going to church, and my relationship with God really I grew apart. He never left me, but I left him. And after years of walking down the road alone, of course with my parents' support, but without God in my life, I came back to him and really just, had asked him to come back into my life, and was praying one night, just asking him, what can I do? I just want to give back. And just thanking him for protecting me through those years. And he just really put in my heart, I seen young women who was pregnant and with children, and I seen seniors, and they were all together, and I just knew that there was love and wisdom flowing between them. And that night I remember just weeping and saying, God, I don't know how you could ever use me to do this, but I'm willing. I do not have the money, do not have the resources, and I do not have the education, but I'm willing. And from there, it just has been remarkable how He has brought the right people, the right finances, and when you say yes, He can do the rest of it.
Yes, He can. So what exactly do you do here?
We started with a home in Hastings. We worked with 13 to 18-year-old young ladies who were pregnant, and we housed them and had them get their education while they were there. Mm-hmm. But when the baby was born, they could stay for about 3 months, and then we'd have to send them back to their family. And in some cases, there wasn't a true family that they could go back to. In 2007, God opened an opportunity for us to move from Hastings to St. Augustine. We have 11 apartments that houses single moms and seniors. Mm-hmm. And the seniors just give great wisdom to these mothers. They're able to work part-time or full-time and go to school, so that they can better their education and really get on their feet and not look for a man to support them, but lean on God to give them wisdom of how to support themselves and their child.
And to wait on His timing for
that right man.
This is where we have our cooking classes and different life skill classes. And we also have pictures on the wall of some of our residents, the children, and staff members. In the living area is the area that we do our life skill classes also. We do budgeting, we do financial classes, couponing, Bible studies.
Oh, they want to know what church it is?
One of the counseling areas.
This is Paula Sims. Paula Sims is one of our case managers and life skill coaches at Alpha Omega.
Hi.
And so what is it that you do here?
As a case manager, we are here to get them set up in the program, to help them get all the assistance that they can to go to school, to get their GED if they need to help them get jobs, to help them get childcare, and just to love them and give them good love and tough love when they need it. and just to keep them focused on why they're here at the program, and it's God-centered, and just to encourage them at all times, because not all times are good times for them. So we're here just to kind of keep them focused on the program. So our main job as case managers is to help them get geared for life outside of Alpha and Omega. Our job is to help them to be able to financially take care of themselves and their children. It's a rewarding job.
You had some really good success stories here. Could you tell us a couple of those?
Yes, I think that there's so many of them, and it's so hard to pick a few.
Well, you can tell us all you want.
But it's, yes. One of my favorite was one of the first young ladies that came into Alpha Omega. She had a 7th grade education. Her mother passed away when she was 14. She had bounced from place to place, and she found herself pregnant for the second time at age 16.
Wow.
When she came to us, she just wanted to choose the gift of adoption and go on about her business. And after she was with Alpha Omega for a little while, after she gave her heart to the Lord and realized that He had a plan and a purpose, she chose to parent her little one. Today he's 14 or 15, and she's an RN, and she is doing really well, and married and has a little girl. Just knowing that they have the support, that that somebody cares, and that they're not alone, really does give them that hope for their future. And one of my favorite sayings that I say to them all the time is, your past does not predict your future.
That's right.
You predict your future. So we can do this the hard way, or we can do it the easy way and quit and never get there. But it's really neat to see the young ladies just really push through, because it's not easy with a child. But they're worth it, and they deserve a good mom, and they deserve a good home, and they deserve to have a good father figure if he's either a good support in their life, or if God will bring them a father in another way in time.
You mentioned the gift of adoption. Is there a way that you help the girls make that decision whether to raise their child or to put them up for adoption?
Yes. When a young lady comes into the program and she's pregnant, we work through a series of books. They're from Loving and Caring. The books really allow them to answer all the questions themselves. So it's not me trying to convince them they don't have enough support, or that they can parent even if they're not ready. It really is so important for them to know that they can live with their decision. So if they work through these workbooks, and it's a resume for a mom, it's 18 years of a resume, which we know it's more like 50 or 60 years of a resume to be a mother. But they work through them, and there's one book they call A Place to Call Home, and it really makes them think of the cost, the support, the emotional support that child needs. And then it finishes by saying, if you're not ready to be a mom today, that doesn't make you a bad mom. It just makes you a smart mom to know that you're not ready. Your little one needs a mother that's ready, and God will still allow you to have a child when you're ready. So I think they really look, for most cases, what their family support system is, or their friends, and if they really are ready to be a mom. But when you have a young lady that says, I don't want to get up in the middle of the night, I'm not ready, I want to be a great mom one day, but I want to finish school. I have so much respect for that mother that she will know she's going through a hard time, but she will care enough about that child to give that child a home that he or she deserves.
Yeah.
And God has a plan. He might use her DNA, but be raised by another person with different personalities to bring that child to where God has a plan for him or her in this world.
Right. And adoption is such a ministry, and it's even, to a certain extent, it seems to me, the one who gives up the child for adoption has a ministry to the adoptive parents and their whole family, because a lot of times they're childless.
They are. They are. And we really try to encourage them to start praying for the family that they're going to be choosing. We're a support team here, and we're not an adoption agency.
Right.
So they never have to feel that we're pressuring or that we have any reason except to support them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. How about the decision to not abort their child? Are you at all involved in that, or do they come to you after they've made that decision?
We do receive calls sometimes, here and there, not like we did in the past. We had a pregnancy care center for years, from 2004 to 2007. We had a pregnancy care center.
As part of this ministry?
As part of this ministry. I believe God used us until the right people got in the right place, and that wasn't our true calling, but we got to have a little piece of being able to minister to some of those young ladies. Most of our girls have already chosen the gift of life when they come to us, but when we receive those calls, we speak to them, we encourage them, we try to get them an appointment with one of our pregnancy care centers around here.
Okay, that's good. Have you always had the elderly involved, or is this something that you decided to do recently?
At the beginning of when God placed Alpha Omega in my heart, I explained to my dad that next morning. I called him to explain what I had this vision that I had that seemed so real, and I was afraid to tell anyone because I sounded crazy. So as I started sharing with him, he said, that sounds like Alpha and Omega, which God is the Alpha and the Omega, and we're talking from the unborn to the elderly. So that's how the name started. The seniors did not come in until 2009, and that's when we had the apartments, and we were trying to decide, do we put a couple seniors in one of the apartments and then just let them be around the girls and the children. But the seniors all live with a single mom, and they love it, and the girls really love it. So we give them that choice. Do you want to be with a senior, or do you want to be with a single mom? And they always pick the moms, and the moms pick them.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. Can you give people in other parts of the country some tips on starting a ministry similar to yours?
Yes. We receive calls from all over the country of people who God's placed this in their heart also. And when God first put this in my heart, it was so hard to find people who would want to take the time and share any experience that they had. And I remember saying, God, if you send someone to me, I will take the time, no matter how busy I am. And so we have helped other homes with paperwork and with having them tour and come visit and even stay for a couple days so that they can see what we do here, and we connect them with other maternity homes and programs like ours to let them, have the insight before they start theirs.
That's great. Now I'd like you to look at the camera and encourage a young woman who has just found out she's expecting a baby.
Okay. In this moment and at this time, you feel hopeless and that there's nothing that you can do to fix what looks like a problem. And I just want to encourage you that time goes by and that those problems become beautiful angels in your life. And that when you hold that little one or choose the gift of adoption to a family, that little life God has a plan and a purpose for. And He will make a way where there seems to be no way. And if you're concerned that your parents or boyfriend will be let down or disgusted, what He will do is He will turn this all around, and you will be able to either watch a little one grow up through pictures or watch a little one grow up right before your eyes. And I've never had anyone tell me that they wish that they wouldn't have parented or chose the gift of adoption. So there is hope, and you have a bright future. It'll just be a little harder than what it was going to be before, but you can do it.
Are there any other stories that you would like to share about the girls here that have been at the home?
Well, I actually received a call back in August or September from one of the young ladies that had come through our program back 13 years ago, and she invited me to her wedding. And it just happened to be that today that she came up and is touring our facility today, and I would love to invite her to come in and give her testimony.
Well, let's do
And
that.
meet her.
Let's do that. Okay.
Wonderful.
All right, Lisa, why don't you introduce us?
This is Aisha, a beautiful young lady. Aisha came to Alpha Omega about 13 years ago, and she was 16 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And just so blessed to get those calls and to hear and get updates. And she has stayed in touch with me over the years. Time would go by and then I'd get a call. And I'll tell you, one of the most precious videos we have at Alpha Omega is one of Aisha saying, "And I love Miss Lisa." So she's always had that tender spot in my heart. Aisha, do you want to just share a little bit about your story?
Sure. Well, I came to Alpha Omega at the age of 16. My parents sent me here to kind of diffuse a relationship I had with the boyfriend that I got pregnant by. I came here, I wasn't really open to it. I was comfortable at home. I felt secure and safe at home. But I came here by the choice of my parents. And the first time I came, they gave me a tour, and they told me there were house rules and gave me, a daily idea of how life would be here. And I became more open to the thought of change for the very fact that I wasn't happy at home. I spent a lot of time in my room. I spent a lot of time not liking myself. Mirrors were turned around. I didn't really like to engage. So socially, I was hindered. So my parents thought that it would be a positive influence for me to go to a faith-based institute where I was able to commingle with other people in my same situation, still give me a chance to finish school, and still have that faith-based influence that would encourage me spiritually. So I came here. I was had my daughter prematurely. She was 2 months early, 3 pounds, 15 ounces, just a handful. I was still going to school while I was here at a technical institute, and I managed to make it to the end. My daughter was almost 3, maybe 4 months when I returned home, and I actually returned home in a better situation than I left. I completed high school a year early. Of course, there was a journey in between, but I managed to finish a 2-year college. That felt great. So I went on to a 4-year college, completed that. That felt great. And then I just went on to grad school, and that's where I am now. My daughter's 12, going on 13, and she's in a healthy situation. I'm married, so it's just the best experience. I was only there for 6 months, but that little bit of time impacted my entire life and where I am today, because there's no way that I could have stayed in the situation that I was in and be where I am today. So Alpha Omega definitely impacted my life, and words can't even explain. So that's where I came from, and this is where I am.
It's just such an honor to know, again, that we were just a piece. We didn't do anything spectacular in the world's eyes. We just loved her where she was and encouraged her that God has a great plan and that you're an amazing young woman. And we believe that we are, and that we're God's child, and that He has a plan and a purpose. It takes those hard days and makes them a little easier to push through. And I'm just so proud of you. And her husband's just remarkable. It was so nice to go to a wedding and just get to be part of it, and just to know that she's got a bright future ahead of her.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate your being willing to come onto our show and tell us about your time here at Alpha Omega. And you are a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's exciting to see how God can take a little thing like your dream and have such a huge impact on so many people. And I just hope that the viewers will be encouraged that whatever it is God has called you to do, to try and make a difference, you can do it with His strength.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. I was explaining to you earlier that, when God placed this in my heart, I remember just weeping that night saying, God, I do not have the ability financially, spiritually. I sure didn't think I was a strong enough Christian. But He knew He had a process to work with me and that it would be years in the making of getting us to this point. And He just wants us to say, I'm willing. I will do whatever you ask me to do, and I will do it with my whole heart, knowing that you're going to be the maker of the plan. So He's so faithful to complete what He starts.
That's right.
The people He brings in our lives to help us where we're weak, it is just remarkable. It's been one miracle after another miracle. So it's exciting.
Wonderful. Well, where He calls, He provides. Has it ever been a problem financially? Have you ever thought, oh, I'm not sure we're going to make it? Or did you just always have the confidence that God was going to provide what you needed when you needed it?
I always had a strong faith and have always just believed that God can do anything. There was the thought of, we have a $750 a month house payment. God, how are we going to do this? But He has just been so faithful in the little, and as it's built, now we have over a $500,000 budget a year, and it's remarkable to see how each year He always provides. So when our bookkeeper, and over the years we have different bookkeepers, but I think they're here for a season, and then He brings someone else to build their faith, because they will come and say, Lisa, here's our bills. What are we going to do? Do you know we will have to come up with $15,000 in such and such amount of time? Or do you know that this is due? And I always have a peace that it's His, it's not mine. Alpha Omega has nothing to do with Alpha Omega except I was obedient.
Right.
It really is God. So He provides. All of our bills are paid. We owe no nothing. So it is really remarkable.
Well, Aisha, what would you say to a young girl who finds herself in the situation you found yourself in?
My message to young girls who are in the same situation, or were in the same situation as I was, is to instill some hope. I am you. We were in the exact same situation. There is no power greater than God. God's will is amazing. It's unexplainable what He can do for you. And it's all just based upon your faith. It's just based upon your will and your determination. And all these characteristics into one big melting pot. It's just a miracle waiting to happen. You just have to apply yourself, remain faithful, and continuously thank Him. Thank Him in the good times, thank Him in the bad times. Take the bad times as a lesson learned, and just always pick yourself up. Always pick yourself up. You're going to fall. We're all human. You're going to fall. You're going to make mistakes. You'll probably make the same mistakes 2 or 3 times. But the important thing is that you get back up. You have to get back up. You're here for a reason. And if that's just to bring a child into this world, then so be it. Bring the child into the world. And just play the role that you see fit best for you. And always put your child's interest before your own. Being a mother, it's a selfless position. You always have to think about your actions and your thoughts and your words and how those are going to impact your child in the future. And I think those are key elements to consider. And when you're in a situation where you feel like, I have nobody. So I want to encourage you. I want to extend my utmost sympathy I want to give you so much of this love that I have to just give to you. I wish I could give it to you on a plate, but I'm just going to give it to you verbally and say that you can do it. And it's not the end of the world. It's a baby. The baby's here to drive you to the next level. And just take it as a motivation element, nothing more. It's not a downfall. It's definitely a place for you to do better, think wiser, and your child will always influence those thoughts.
Love it. I love it.
And so, would you say that motherhood is a good thing?
Motherhood is a blessing. There's plenty of people, and I'm sure you've heard this a lot of times, oh, a lot of people can't have kids, but motherhood is truly a blessing. There's a person growing inside of you. How incredible is that?
It's remarkable.
So don't ever think you're in a situation where it's like, I'm stuck with this kid. Do the best you can do. And if you can't, or if you foresee that you can't, if you're discouraged, give the child an opportunity to do better with another family. And that's the most selfless act you could do.
Very true. Very true. I think that young ladies who choose the gift of adoption, I always tell them they're my hero, because that is a hard thing and not many people can walk through that process. But God does give us the peace to walk through it when it's the right thing for you, for your child, and for a family that's been praying and asking God to bless them with a child through someone else because they're not able to have that child.
So is there anything else that you would like to tell us, tell our viewers before we close?
Just don't give up on a vision that God puts in your heart. He does it in so many ways. But when He's placed something in your heart, don't lean on yourself. Just give it to Him and say, if this is you, God, I'm willing. And He will bring the pieces together. You do not have to take every step, but you do have to take steps forward. You can't say, God, I'm here and I'm willing, so you do it all. That's why He puts it on our heart, so that we take the baby steps and He walks hand in hand with us. And to think of us building a campus of 60 apartments, if you would have told me that 20 years ago, I could barely envision having a 2-story home. But with God, all things are possible, and He opens doors. All He wants is a willing heart. That's all He really is looking for.
Then why don't you tell people where they can find out about your ministry online?
They can go to www.aomh.org. That's for Alpha Omega Miracle Home.org. Or they can call 904-823-8588.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Lisa
Thank you.
and Aisha,
Thank you.
for being our guests.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for what you do.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stand for, claim